Hi guys, this is Muffson here at PAX West. We are here with Brian Clark. He is the developer of the Mortuary Assistant, and he's also the co-director of Dread XP. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very tired, but I'm good. It's really, second day is like, it's weird. The first day you get all the excitement out and all the issues that are wrong are taken care of, and then all your energy is sapped and you got to build it back up. But other than that, I'm doing awesome. Really happy to be doing this.
To those who are unfamiliar with Mortuary Assistant, can you tell us a bit about the game?
Yeah, so in Mortuary Assistant, you are a intern that is becoming a mortician, basically. You're playing as Rebecca Owens as the main character. You are doing your final exam, basically, and spooky stuff starts to happen, and ultimately you are dealing with embalming bodies while trying to fight off a possession, and you need to identify which demon is trying to possess you so that you can burn them and send them back to hell, basically. That's the short and long of it.
That sounds like a game right up my alley.
The way I've structured it is a lot of like replay where a single session may not take super long. The idea is you got to embalm 3 different bodies throughout the night. So there's a few sections where you are embalming a body, and then you'll experience story-related haunting events that kind of build throughout. And then there's the identifying the demonic entity, and once you've done that, binding the demon to the correct body and burning it. That's like a standard play session. But during that, there are haunting events that happen, and I've written an entire system that monitors the player, sees like where they are, how far along in gameplay they are, how possessed they are the lights on or off in the room, what direction are they facing, what items do they have. There's all sorts of stuff that I check against, and then an event will try to run, and if the player meets that criteria, it'll launch that event. And when the event launches, there's another set of systems that will check more like granular detail in just like the room that you're in or what you're doing, and that will change what form of the event happens. So the idea is that no playthrough is exactly the same. You get different story events each time until you've experienced them all, and you get different haunting events and different bodies every time, and a different demon that you're dealing with every time. You can play this over and over and over and over again, and even though you know the game and understand how it works, you have a different experience every time, and hopefully are scared every time because it's unpredictable.
I like that it has like so much replay value. It feels like you're playing a new game every time.
That's the goal. That's the aim. Like I started to realize that I was on the right track when I didn't know what was going to happen. Like I have no clue like what event is going to happen when. I'd have like people like DM me on Twitter and stuff and be like, oh, it's crazy how you have this event happen at this time. Why did you write it that way? And I'm like, I don't know what event you're talking about. It just happens randomly, and so every time I play, I don't know what's going to happen either. The idea is that the haunts ramp up throughout the entire thing, so at the beginning of a session, it'll be small stuff, like maybe it's a random noise, might see some out of the corner of your eye, and then by the end of a shift, you're seeing entities that are throwing you around the room, or like your grandma shows up and is trying to kill you. Like it ramps up pretty heavily by the end, but it's all meant to be unpredictable, and I can't predict it for any run either.
How did you come up with the concept for this game? What inspired you? Like, did you take any other games into consideration when you were working on Mortuary Assistant?
The birth of this was actually, it came from a self-induced game jam. I was like, I wanna do something really quick, just because I like to do it sometimes, just kind of shake the cobwebs loose if I'm in the middle of developing something for a long time. So I gave myself 7 days to make something scary, and so I was immediately back against the wall, like, all right, I need a small environment because I can't spend forever making a huge thing. I'm a solo developer, so I do all of it. So I gotta be like, all right, tiny room. What's spooky about a tiny room? Well, dead bodies are spooky. Why would you be in a tiny room with a dead body? So then it was like either autopsy or embalming, and embalming I felt is a lot more intimate. Autopsy is very technical, and like you're trying to solve kind of a mystery of how they died, which is great. But I really liked the fact that embalming is sort of a mix of science and artistry, because you're doing things that you have to do for like preserving a body. There's methods to do it, but then there's also like the things like in various like prosthetics to prop up the jaw, or things that keep the eye closed, or sewing the jaw shut, or like doing makeup and things like that. So it's this really cool, like intimate, you have to be close to the body. And so I really like that concept. And I made this prototype where all you're doing is getting the tools to get ready to embalm, and a few random events happen. I put that on itch just to see if anybody liked it. I want people to have an example of the work I was doing. I was doing a Kickstarter at the time, so I wanted to show an example. And I was really, really fortunate when like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, other big creators played it and really liked it. And I was like, cool, I'm glad people like that. Really wish I wasn't making another game right now, but okay. So I finished the game that I was working on and jumped right onto this, which is how I got into this whole thing in the first place. There wasn't any necessary, like, I saw something and had this epiphany of like, that's the game idea. I just forced myself to do something, and sort of out of desperation, that's how it happened. And then from there was when I started doing all the research for embalming, when I saw that that's what people wanted to do. They wanted to do embalming stuff and the spooky stuff. That's when I started to kind of research all the tools and the methods and try to be as true to it as possible while keeping it a horror game and not a simulator. I was trying to walk that line. I tried to be really cognizant of what people liked about the prototype and build those things into the game itself. And then I put out the demo for the game and really, again, paid attention to what do people like, what do they not like, what are the things that when I watch someone play it and they make a YouTube video, shout out to small content creators. I love all of you. It matters a whole lot, and I watch all of it, even if it gives me anxiety watching people play my games. I always like listen to the summary at the end of the videos when someone plays it and go, this was really fun. I love this. I love that. It would be great if you did this. It'd be great if I saw some more of that. I try to take all that to heart and bring that to the game. And so I think that's part of what made the final release of Mortuary Assistant work, was the fact that I really tried to be mindful of what people said they wanted to have in the game, while staying true to what I wanted to make, obviously. But like, I wanted people to feel like they were being listened to just through playing the game. They played the game and they were like, oh, it's doing the thing I wanted. That's great. Like that's the way I like to approach this stuff. And so it's absolutely important to me to get feedback. Even if it's people saying they hate something, I'll take in like aggregate data from that and be like, well, if like one person says they hate something, okay. If 10 people say they don't like something, I need to start looking into what's wrong with this thing or why people don't like it. Maybe I can make a change. So yeah, all of that is absolutely important to me.
What would be the first few words you would use to describe Mortuary Assistant?
Embalming bodies in a haunted house. That's basically, that's the idea. The tagline that I came up with on Steam just says "Alone with the Dead." That's basically it, because I think that concept alone is creepy enough to people on its face that you kind of want to learn more about it. And that's really what it boils down to. There's a whole lot that goes into it, and a whole lot of like more granular things that make the game what it is, and the things that I'm proud of and love about it. But ultimately, on its face, that's what it is. You're alone with the dead, and that's really creepy. That's the start point, anyway.
It's a good way to describe it.
You can find Mortuary Assistant on Steam. It's been out for a while, but you can also get it on PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch now. The ports just came out with the definitive edition, so that version is sort of like me putting the game in its final place that I'm happy with, where I have major bugs fixed. There's some new haunting events, a little bit of lore, there's more bodies, there's embalming only mode, there's all that stuff, and it's all to put it in a good spot before I move on fully to Paranormal Activity, which I'm doing now. And if you want to follow my development for future stuff, it's just DS Digital Dev on Twitter and Darkstone Digital everywhere else.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you.
And hope you guys get a chance to check out Mortuary Assistant, which is now available on Steam and on whatever consoles you guys have. Thank you so much.